What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about nothing in particular really important, but stuff that I think that we need to discuss as a community for things that we need in the direction of this game following the dev note number 7 and end of January update notice. One of the things that has me thrown off quite a bit with the game is that in the dev note number 7 we have no roadmap for character development, meaning we have no idea who's coming for in the next half year. Now, I'm not surprised by this, mostly because if you followed Chilling with Danny Koo sessions, you'll notice that in a lot of those sessions he was reticent to give any new information about the development of any new characters, specifically because of how Magic was handled. We as a community base assumed that we were going to be getting Magic sometime in September, and yet we didn't get Magic until December. If we had to use Magic as a barometer, however, there's a little bit of concern there from the player base, properly so in my opinion, because you're basically looking at a game where you say it took them about 3-4 months to develop a new character, and even the way they handle that character in post-launch. So like, for instance, Thor recently did a video where he was discussing, whether or not it was a good thing that, we still are not able to transmute gear for characters. And I disagree with Thor. He looks at it from a good perspective. I look at it as a difference of perspective. If you were going to add the system in and players are going to have that ability to transmute gear and Omega cards for new characters, then you should have just left that ability in, and it shouldn't have been this thing. But clearly the effort here, the problem with the effort is that it's more geared towards a monetization effort. Clearly you want the new character to come out and you legitimately have a concern about releasing that character and not being able to make money off of that character, meaning that nobody's going to necessarily need to buy new Omega cards, and nobody necessarily going to need to have new battle badges and so forth. But here goes the main concern: with no character on the horizon, and when you're looking at the way they're changing directions for the character development right now, they seem more leaning towards you guys should be developing and building up your whole roster of characters, not that you should be focused in on one character. The game seemed to start off in that way, right? Because you look at the cost of what it was going to take to improve a character right now, you look at the investment and what it was going to take to invest in one character, and the primary focus seemed to be squarely placed in you were going to invest in one character because they recognized that this was going to be what it was, and that way when a new character came out that you really were invested in, that you want to like, we're going to add this transmutation system. So you can see here where we have now shifted to your character's not supposed to be special in any shape, form, or way. We want you to spread load your investment in these characters. This is the problem. And this is what I'm talking about, what we need. We need a clear idea of where this game is going. When we typically get into a gacha game, the FOMO mentality that's going to be there. You're paying out to that, and you're going to get a new character. You're going to level up that character. That character is in the rinse cycle for a little bit where it's in the meta and so forth until a new gacha character comes out, and then we go. You typically know MMORPGs are geared around you building up one character. You build up that one character and maybe one or two other characters that you really like, and the effort to build up those characters is a longevity thing. The problem here is that this game doesn't seem to fit within the gacha. It doesn't seem to fit within the MMO, but it seems squarely in the middle where they're trying to monetize as if though it's a gacha, but they're trying to develop. Now we don't know because it's not single target geared. It's not, and now we're at a multiple target buildup. This is a problem. What we need is a clear direction from the development team. What we need is an effort and understanding that if you're going in this direction where I'm supposed to, as a player, be invested in building up my entirety of my roster, then this current model, the foundation of the game, it doesn't suit the needs of that. Basically we're not getting enough resources where we could build up a character. Right now, the way this game is currently currently geared and working, you know, you have like your, in order to make your character at the top tier levels in competitive play, you have the character pretty much geared where it's like gonna cost you tens to $20,000 of characters. Just look at some of the whales who have characters, you know, sat in the upper echelons of the rankings and stuff like that. Like if you were to look at where you're going to compete with these top players right here across the board, if you went to any one of those characters and you talk to them about how much money they've invested in those characters, it's quite a bit. And there's no way that you're going to tell me that your 1 million player character is going to compete against these characters inside Alliance Omega War and so forth. So building up other characters now for squad PvE and stuff like that, or squad PvP, it kind of really makes little sense, especially when you bring out something like Alliance boss battle, where you're going to say, I have to invest in this one character so that way he can generally compete in this area. Because in order for me to invest in that character, it costs a lot in this game, and the current model along with the current pay model does not support the game. It does not support the intent, and the developers seem to be in no man's land. It doesn't seem like they really have a good hold on what it is. So we need a roadmap. It is essential that we must have a roadmap in this game. Even when you look at what was released for Dev Note number 7, and when you talk about what was released for the end of January update notice, a lot of directions seem to be more geared towards the monetization of the game. The increase of level to level 120, completely unneeded. There doesn't seem to be a good explanation for why we need to go to 120. You're adding in the Netherworld and Niflheim, but we don't seem to have a good reason for 120 other than a way to monetize training time tickets and investment for characters to go to that next level. And there's no reason for us to be at 120. They could introduce a new blitz, like right now, if you were to look at the operations and you were to look at blitz specifically, we're at 105 blitz, where we were previously going on like every 10 stages, I think it was. So now we're at literally this 105 blitz, which they shouldn't have done, but they should have left this at a 110 blitz so that way we can go. But the problem was that they needed to monetize training time, and so now we're looking at a 105, maybe a 115, 120 blitz or something like that we're looking at coming for Hela and Mephisto. Maybe we're going to get 2 blitz. Maybe we'll end up with a 110 and a 115 blitz inside here. But at the very least, we know that we're also getting battle badges as a way for you to just, you know, go inside here. Now you're going to have to get these new level battle badges. You're going to have to increase more squad battle. You're going to have to increase this for multiple characters across the board. You're going to have to work on expedition and armory characters, things that they're now adding in, so that way instead of you just investing in one character, you have the ability to invest in multiple characters. Most of the balancing improvements and things like that are literally geared. The raid enhancement, you know, in order for you to play more raid, they're going to give you more convergium, so you can to pay into more of the specialization, your battle challenges and the rewards that you're getting from there, to the most wanted spawn information. The bottom line with this game is that the development team from day one has seemed rudderless, meaning they just have no sense of direction for where this game is going, what they're actually implemented, and what they're planning on. And the bottom line is that they prove that when they show us a roadmap like Dev Note number 7. You notice they didn't call it a Dev Note, but they said this is the stuff that they have in mind for the first half of 2022, not the first 2 months, 3 months, the first half of 2022. And the majority of the stuff that they are implementing for the first half of 2022 is literally here within the game for January's update that we should probably be expecting, maybe, I'm gonna assume, this Wednesday or so. I doubt that we're receiving that update tonight, right? Because we would have probably received information, but if we do, I'll bring you guys information on that. But most of the things for the January update are from the first half. I just don't understand. Things that we really need as players is we need a reconfiguration to the paywall. We really need a reconfiguration to the Marvel Mall. We need this has to be different, because in order for us to invest in multiple characters across the board, which I really don't mind doing, I've done it with a game like Marvel Future Fight, and I've enjoyed building up multiple characters across the board, but not on this pay model, not on this reward system, not on these drop rates, not on these draw rates. No thank you, no way. These draw rates, these models, they're not even draw rates and models from other MMORPGs like Destiny and freaking Black Desert and Final Fantasy 14 and Marvel's Avengers that I play. gameplay. These models are terrible, absolutely terrible. We need an update to this mall. Even more concerning is we need an update to these core system. The core system is perhaps the worst system in the game. We have literally been complaining about it for months, and somehow it has gone relentlessly unattended to. Meaning it seems as if though the developers are specifically shying away from the core system. When we tried to talk to Danny Koo about it, he didn't even want to address the topic inside the Chilling with Danny Koo session. Didn't even want to bring it up, didn't even want to discuss it. Here we are, literally 6 months after the game's launch, and we still don't have a fix for core, the draw rates and things like that that's inside the headquarters. Literally, we need a way to fix this. The transmutation was a great system inside the game, but now you're telling me you want me to build all the characters up, so now do I really necessarily have a reason to transmute characters? Because now what you're telling me is you want me to go inside the shop and I'm going to need to basically purchase things for this character, that character, and that character. I got to have uniforms for this character, that character. Well, it doesn't make sense if the drop rates are the way they are in the game, where these regional costume pieces, literally, if you go to the Marvel Mall and you were to go to your tokens specifically inside here and talk about your specialty shops and so forth like that, these costume pieces are costing players anywhere from 1,500 on up for them to complete. I'm not spending 1,500 per character every time Marvel Future Revolution releases a character. It doesn't make sense. It's something that we are really looking down the barrel at, right? Great, you're adding new raid stages inside the game. Awesome. There's going to be new raids inside the game. So instead of having, instead of having challenge, extreme, and ultimate, we're going to have raid level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What difference does that make if I can only run one of them per day? The raids should be something that you should allow players to farm more than once per day, and I shouldn't have to go in here and say I can only do it 3 times per week, especially if you want me to build up multiple characters. That is a huge limitation on the character. The problem is the same way they didn't understand when they released the game that we were going to be able to accomplish defeating, most wanted targets within seconds and not the 10 minutes that they assumed, is the same problem that we're at with a lot of the systems. They seem clueless. They do not seem like they understand the game that they are creating, and they seem like they're just throwing things out at the wall. They're literally pulling things in from other game spaces that have already been tried and failed, or tried and worked. The invasion mode, now we're getting alliance boss battles from DC Legends. We are getting raids. We had invasions from 7 Deadly Sins. Now we're getting squad PvP, and now where are you guys going with this? Where are we going with this? Where's the end point? What is the nature that we as players should be working towards? You're giving us no direction. If I jump into a real MMORPG, I know what I'm building. It doesn't seem like you guys know what you're building with this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to this week to see how some of this stuff gets implemented. One of the things that makes me even more ticked off about this game, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, I was pretty peeved that we got no information. I'll finish this off here so that way you guys can comment on this. I was really peeved to see that we were getting new companions, and these are actually some cool pictures. We're getting new companions in Ghost Rider. We're getting new companions in Baron Mordo, but yet these are characters that players actually want to see. I don't want a companion Ghost Rider. That is not what I want. I don't want this dude as a companion. I want this dude as a playable character. Ghost Rider should have been one of those characters that you literally looked at and said, hey, this is a character we need to get into the game immediately, because this is the type of character that is going to drive sales, that are going to drive things. Like if you told me today that you release, and I've said this to you guys multiple times, you remember I said this to you guys, me switching from Doctor Strange, there's certain characters that I would need to have introduced in the game in order for me to switch. Ghost Rider is one of those characters. I would have loved to see, if you told me that this character was coming to the game, you told me Thor was coming to the game, you told me Deadpool was coming to the game, you told me Wolverine was coming to it, you told me Nova was coming to the game, I think a lot of players would have just jumped on board and be like, yeah, you know what, I guess I'm gonna build multiple characters. But when you tell me you got Magic, a itty bitty character from nowhere that nobody even thinks about, that nobody even writes about in comic book spaces, and that's the character that's driving you, no, who the hell cares about that? You know, who cares? We're literally getting a companion villain now. So we've got Baron Mordo coming as a companion now, but we still have yet to have a villain character introduced into the game. Where is the villain character that we get introduced in the game? I think a lot of players, we're playing around with the multiverse world, so we can see Doctor Strange is literally going to be a villain at some point in the storyline because of what he envisioned. Why could we not have a Baron Mordo that's good? Why could we not have a Thanos that's good? Why could we not have a Mephisto or Hela that's good? We don't want, stop trying to monetize everything because it doesn't make sense. You are losing and hemorrhaging players, and this is not a game that people want to see fail. We don't want to see it go the way of MROC. So do something better, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Thank you guys for getting us off to a strong start for the new year. Let's get that 500 mark, guys. I'm trying to hit that 1,000. Trying to hit that 1,000, guys. So let's get at it. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.